guys, it's March 31st, 2024, and it's Easter. Happy Easter to everyone today. I hope everybody's having a great holiday. I just wanted to come on here today and just do a quick little video. I don't really have a topic in mind. I've got tons of ideas for videos, but today I just wanted to talk about something that happened last night to me. For any of you guys that watched yesterday's video, I posted up a comment in the comment section and pinned it last night because I wasn't feeling well. I just wanted to tell you guys the story of what happened last night, which was rather frightening. I honestly thought last night that I really thought that last night was gonna be like really bad. And I gotta be honest with you guys, one of the first things that popped in my head was that my wife's gonna have to come on here and tell you guys what happened to me. That's how scary last night ended up becoming. So I'll just go ahead and get into it. Yesterday afternoon, I'd done the cooking video yesterday, and I don't usually eat during the day anyway. I just basically have my protein shakes throughout the day, and I'll have like something small throughout the day, maybe like some blueberries or something like that, and maybe like a little piece of meat or something like that, maybe, and 2 protein shakes. I always have 2 protein shakes every single day during the day. That every day. It's the same thing every day. I do the same thing. I never change it up. And yesterday, I filmed the cooking video. I did taste the soup, but I didn't eat. I actually gave that to my daughter to eat yesterday. And what ended up happening is, I got the video edited and started uploading it. And my wife, it's tax season right now, and I've talked about this. My wife's an accountant, so she's working 6 days a week right now. And she didn't get home. She had to stop by the store yesterday and pick up a couple things for the kids for Easter, and then she came home afterwards. And as soon as my wife drives our truck, and when she got home, I told her I needed to go ahead and run to the dump, and it had gotten pretty late at that point. I think it was somewhere around 5:30. I got both of my boys and told them I wanted them to come with me. I just wanted to spend some time with them, and we loaded up. They helped me out. We loaded up the trash, and I took my wife's truck and we went to the dump. My boys helped me unload the trash, and we came back home. And when we got back to the house, I think it was really close to 6 o'clock, somewhere in that neighborhood. And when I walked in the house, the first thing that I did was I went in my bedroom, and I'd already cooked dinner yesterday. While I was doing that cooking video, I was preparing my dinner at the same time as well. I roasted off some pork tenderloin last night, and I made some zucchini, and I made some macaroni and cheese for my wife and my daughter. And I figured we'd go ahead and eat dinner early because, I've talked about this, but Saturday nights are always our family night where we always sit down and watch at least 1 or 2 movies together. And I wanted to go ahead and eat so that we could go ahead and watch our movie. So I went ahead, and as soon as I got home from going to the dump, I went to my bedroom, got my insulin out, and went ahead and proceeded to take my insulin. Now, this is something that's kind of come up before, and my wife is one of those people that overthinks a lot of stuff, and I'm not saying anything negative about her. She tends to overthink things. Like if we leave the house and she thinks she'll think that she forgot to lock the door. So we'll have to come back home and check the locks. Or like if we had a candle burning, and like I'll say, I know for a fact I blew it out, and she just worries about stuff like that. So we'll have to come back and check the candle. Like, it happens all the time. And my wife will often ask me, did you how many units of insulin did you take? Because she wants to know to make sure, because I wear a constant glucose monitor, and it's connected to her phone as well. So if my blood sugar gets either too high or too low, she gets an alert and it'll let her know. And we do that just for the simple fact that if I'm home by myself and something happens, my wife will get an alert and she'll know, if my blood sugar is to get too low or get too high and I'm not answering her text messages or she tries to call me, she's going to know that something's probably wrong. But last night, like I said, I went ahead and took my insulin, and I take fast acting at night, and I take and long acting. I take fast acting 15 minutes anytime before I eat. And if I have like a protein shake or something like that, I'll take like 1 unit of insulin. But when it's dinner time, I have to do a sliding scale, and I'll figure out, how many carbs are in my meal, and I'll take my insulin based on how many carbs I'm gonna have for dinner. And last night, I don't know exactly what I did wrong, but my wife she doesn't like me to take my long acting and my fast acting at the same time, because there's been times in the past that she has questioned me on how many units I've taken, and then I'd start questioning myself and I can't remember. And it scared me a couple times. She's made me second guess myself a couple of different occasions. She's just made me second guess how much insulin I've actually taken. So we had a deal. I won't take my long acting and my fast acting at the same time, because I take 19 units of long acting insulin every single night before I go to bed. And then I'll take my fast acting, depending on how many carbs I'm going to have for my dinner that night. But last night, something happened. I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know how many units of fast acting that I took. I obviously took way more than I was supposed to. I'm not exactly sure how many units that was. I know for a fact that I took 19 units of the long-acting insulin, because that's all that was left in the bottom of the pen. And it's a Lantus SoloStar pen, and you click it, and there's numbers on the dial. So you'll click it, and it pushes the little plunger down in the pen, and then you attach the needle and inject yourself. Well, last night, I put the needle on the end of the long-acting, twisted it all the way, and it stopped right there at the 19. So that's all that was left in the needle to begin with, because once I was done with it, I threw it away. So I know for a fact that's all that was left in the long acting, but the fast acting, I'm not sure. And I'm really wondering if I didn't accidentally take 19 units of long acting, which would, that's a lot of fast acting. That's a lot of fast acting insulin. Each unit of fast-acting insulin will bring your blood sugar down 50 points. So I'm not exactly sure how many units I took last night, but I can tell you this is what ended up happening. I know I've led way into this, but I really wanted to give you guys the backstory about how this all went down. Like I said, I took my long-acting, fast-acting. It was around 6 o'clock. And you take your fast-acting 15 minutes before your meal. Well, I thought that we were going to go ahead and eat early. My kids, I already had their food ready, and our food was ready, and we were going to go ahead and sit down, eat, and then go into our movie room, or our entertainment room, whatever you want to call it, and watch our movie for the night. I had just a couple weeks ago had taken all the cushions off of our couches and cleaned everything. Like, I steam cleaned the couch, pulled all the cushions off, had my wife run those through the washing machine. So we had just cleaned our couch, and a lot of times I'll allow my kids to have those little dinner trays. We'll set those up, and we'll actually eat our dinner while we're watching our movie. But last night I told them I didn't want them going down there and eating, because I had just cleaned that couch, and I didn't want anything to end up getting on it. So I said, we're going to eat at the dinner table tonight, and then we'll go down and watch our movie afterwards. But what ended up happening is I ended up getting caught up doing some things. We got our kids some Easter presents, and I had to get them out of my wife's truck, help her get those, and we went and put them in my building, my shed, yesterday. And there was just things, you guys know how this ends up happening sometimes. You start doing something, and then another thing will come up, and before you know it, it's been like 2 hours, and time's just gone by. And that's what happened last night. I took my insulin started doing stuff with all intentions to go ahead and eat my dinner in like 15-20 minutes, and then I just lost track of time and I was doing a bunch of chores around the house, getting dishes done and things like that. My wife was outside feeding our animals, and she had come inside and she had to take a bath, and I just kept doing things. And I went ahead and told my kids, hey, y'all go ahead and eat dinner, and your mom and I will eat in a little bit, but I want y'all to go ahead and be able to eat your dinner. So I went ahead and fed them. I had totally forgotten that I had taken my insulin. And I guess it was somewhere around like 8 o'clock or something like that. I started feeling really, really bad. I got really nauseous, to the point that I didn't think I was going to be able to keep from throwing up. I thought it was about to happen. And I've talked about how scared I get, when I throw up, because anytime I've thrown up blood. I've burst varices when I've thrown up. So I was really trying my best to fight that. And, sometimes when that happens, my blood sugar has gone down. And for any of you guys who have diabetes, or anybody, if you've gone like all day long and you haven't eaten anything, you know how you get like real shaky after you haven't eaten. But for you guys out there who have diabetes, you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever taken insulin or too much insulin, or your blood sugar gets really low, it's not a very good feeling, and it makes you feel really, really ill. So I started feeling like that, and I started getting really shaky. I couldn't control my hands. They were shaking really bad. And another thing too, for any of you guys out there with diabetes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When your blood sugar starts getting really low, you'll start getting really confused. Your brain stops working correctly, and things just don't make sense anymore. You can't think straight, and it's very, very frightening. I mean, very, very frightening when that happens. And that's what happened to me last night. I started getting really confused. I didn't know what was going on. And my wife said, what's your blood sugar? And right when she asked that, the alarm started going off for my Dexcom. And I have my alarm, it's set for 80 or below. So my blood sugar gets down to 80, the alarm will start going off. And like I said, the alarm was going off on my phone, it was going off on her phone, and that's when we realized my blood sugar got down to 80. So right at that moment, I went and I grabbed some glucose tablets and started taking my glucose tablets. And guys, I'm going to try my best not to get emotional right now, because this really did scare me last night. I mean, really, really bad. I'm still a little bit... I'm still kind of worked up over it because it scared me so bad. Because I really, really thought last night that my wife was going to have to come on here and talk with you guys. But anyway, what ended up happening is I ended up taking like 6 glucose tablets. And those glucose tablets have 20 grams of carbs in each one. And when you eat them, they dissolve like really fast. Like when you take a glucose tablet or the glucose gel, that stuff doesn't take long at all. You're looking at maybe 5-10 minutes and your blood sugar will start to rise like really, really quick. I mean, they're designed to be absorbed very fast by your body to get your blood sugar back where it needs to be. And I had taken one, then I took another, and then I took another, and like I said, I got up to 6 glucose tablets. And I thought everything was okay. My blood sugar started to come up a little bit, and I thought, okay, you have to give it some time when you do that. You don't want to just like go and eat like a whole bunch of stuff and because your blood sugar will spike like through the roof. I mean, we're talking like 300-400. It'll get up there if you just go overboard. So I had a couple of those tablets, waited some time, took a couple more, waited, and then my blood sugar started coming up slowly, and I thought, okay, that's good. I'm gonna give it some time. So we went ahead and my wife and I heated up our dinner. And then her and I went ahead and ate. It only took us a couple minutes to eat our dinner. And I actually put some macaroni and cheese on my plate just to go ahead and make sure that I had some more carbs on my plate, because it was basically just vegetables and meat. And I said, whatever, I'm gonna go ahead and put some macaroni and cheese on here just to kind of make sure I've got carbs to keep bringing my blood sugar back up. So I ate that. And we went down to our TV room, sat down, we turned on the movie. We were watching, my oldest son wanted to watch that movie Dune, the new Dune. And we turned it on and we started watching the movie. And then next thing you know, I started feeling really sick again. And my alarm kept going off on my phone and my blood sugar started dropping back down again. And I went, okay, something is not right, because anytime it's ever happened, I can get my blood sugar to come back up, and it usually is fine. And especially after 6 glucose tablets, my blood sugar should have been okay at that point. Especially if I hadn't eaten anything and I had just taken, because I thought that I'd only taken 3 units of fast-acting insulin. So what ended up happening, like I said, we're sitting there watching the movie. I start feeling really sick, and I told my wife, I said, I'm going to go back upstairs and get my finger prick system, which is, those are spot on. And sometimes the Dexcom, the constant glucose monitor, it can get uncalibrated. So you're supposed to calibrate it, like, every few days. And there's a place that you can go in there. So what you'll do is you prick your finger, you take the little test strip, you put it inside the little reader, and then you put it to the blood that comes out. You squeeze your finger, you put the little test strip on there, and within like 5 seconds, it gives you a reading and tells you exactly what your blood sugar is. So I took my blood sugar, and it said that my blood sugar was 100 at this point now. And my constant glucose monitor was telling me that my blood sugar was 93. So I was like, okay, it's off by a couple points. I went ahead and put it in and calibrated it in the Dexcom app and went on about my business. I went back downstairs, started watching TV, and I started feeling sick again. And this time it started getting really bad. And when that happens, I tend to get like super hot, and I'll start getting like really sweaty. My palms of my hands will start sweating, and I'll start shaking really bad. And you just, like I said, you get really lightheaded. You just get confused, discombobulated. You just don't know what's going on. It's very, very frightening. And I told my wife, I said, I just don't feel right. So my wife, I said, can you go get me some ice cream or something? So she went up and got me some ice cream. And I started eating the ice cream. And I took the blood glucose monitor, checked. I did the finger prick again. Checked my blood sugar again, and at that point my blood sugar had gotten back down to 80. And at this point I had already had 6 glucose tablets. I'd eaten dinner. I'd actually eaten some candy in between that as well. I got a soda, a full, like, real sugar soda. I drank that, and that's when my blood sugar, after all that stuff and eating ice cream, my blood sugar had dropped down to 80. And I was like, okay, something's terribly wrong right now. And that's when I'm telling you, I was feeling very, very sick. That's when I got on the YouTube app and went ahead and put a pinned comment, just to let you guys know I wasn't feeling well, that I would get to the comments when I was feeling better. And right after I did that, I was talking to my wife, and she's like, what do you want to do? And I said, well, let's just wait for a minute and see what happens. I checked my glucose again with the finger prick one more time, because I had looked on my phone, and my phone said that my blood sugar had gotten down to 70 at that point. So I went ahead and did a finger prick again to check, and when I checked at that time, my glucose monitor was right on point. Like, it was right there. I think it was off by like 1 point, but it was so close that both of them were reading the same. So now I'm like, okay, something's terribly wrong. So I told my wife, I said, we have to go. We have to go now. Because I was very scared, and I didn't want to scare my kids. I was trying to put it off as long as possible. I was trying to let my blood sugar come back up. We were talking to each other. We were actually texting each other at one point because we didn't want our kids to hear us talking about it. And then that's when I finally went, okay, something's wrong. I don't feel right. I said, we have to go to the hospital now. And my wife looked at me, and I could just tell the look on her face. Like, she was very scared. And that's what my boys both, were like, what's going on, Dad? And I said, look, I don't know. Something's going on with my blood sugar. I think I might have taken too much insulin, but we need to go to the hospital. One thing I will tell you guys, if any of you guys have not went and watched the video that I did about the hospital bag, I'm telling you guys, man, I am so glad that I had that last night. I didn't have to think about anything. I didn't have to do anything special at all. I went and I grabbed my bag that's hanging. I keep it on a clothes hanger hanging in my closet. I went and grabbed my go bag. And that's all I had to do. I didn't have to do anything else. I grabbed my go bag and I grabbed a blanket. I always take a blanket with me to the hospital because I just hate those blankets in there. I'm not a fan of using them. I just kind of have like a phobia of those. I bring my, and plus I'm always cold, and the hospital's always so cold, so I just grabbed a blanket to take with me to the hospital so I could, especially when your blood sugar starts getting real low like that, it'll make you get really cold. So I grabbed a jacket, I grabbed my blanket, I grabbed my go bag, and we hopped in the truck. And I also had my wife grab that ice cream for me. So we took that in the vehicle. Got in the truck, started driving down our driveway, and I had to tell my wife to stop because I thought I was going to get sick. At this point, I had eaten so many different things. My stomach was just not handling the sugar that I put into it. My body's not used to eating that much sugar. So that was making me feel really ill. And then my blood sugar was really low, which was making me feel ill. I just felt horrible. And I told my wife, because she said, are you sure you want to go to the hospital right now? And I said, look, if I don't get in the truck right now, I don't think you're going to be able to get me in. And I've talked about, we live way out in the country. If we were to wait on an ambulance to come get me, it would have taken some time. It probably would have been an hour for the ambulance to arrive. So my thinking is, let's get in her truck and let's get heading to the hospital right now. It's about a 30-minute drive to the hospital from where we live. So we got in the truck. Like I said, I had my ice cream, I had a bunch of candy and stuff with me. I had a soda with me. I don't even know how many carbs I'd eaten at this point, but it was something ridiculous, and I kept eating more and more. Needless to say, I almost finished off a whole entire, I guess like half gallon of gelato. It was actually gelato that I was eating. I almost ate the whole entire carton of it. And the only reason I stopped eating it is because it was making me feel so sick. I just couldn't stomach any more of it. And I know that eating stuff with fat and stuff like that is not the greatest way to get your blood sugar up. But that's all I had. That's all the glucose tablets that I had. I had just used my little emergency shot of insulin, of the carbs, that little one of those little bottles. It looks like a 4-hour energy little bottle kind of thing, but it's got like 16 grams of carbs in one of those little things, and those things really do work. I need to go buy some more now I think about it, and some more gel packs. But I had just taken that little shot bottle not too long ago because I had a scare with my blood sugar, and that really worked well. But all I had was 6 glucose tablets left. I didn't have any more of those to take. So I was just eating what I had, and I was just trying to get my blood sugar back up. So we got in the truck, like I said. We drove up the end of the driveway. I had to tell her to stop because I thought I was going to get sick. We sat there for a minute, and then we went ahead and proceeded and started driving to the hospital. And we got there, sat in the parking lot. I told my wife, just let's sit here for a minute. I started feeling a little bit better. My blood sugar started coming up just a little bit. It had gotten way down there. I kept pricking my finger on the way, and at one point it had gotten down to like 40 something, and it was very scary. But by the time we had gotten there, my blood sugar started to come back up. It had risen back up to 80, and this is like a 2-hour window all this kind of happened, maybe a little bit longer than that. So I really tried my best not to go to the hospital and try to get my blood sugar back up. But what really scared me was I kept thinking to myself, did I take 19 units of fast-acting insulin? And I knew I needed to be at the hospital for them to get my blood sugar under control at that point, because I knew that I needed to be there. Because I'd already got my blood sugar come back up and then it dropped right back down again, and that made no sense. Nothing like this has ever happened to me before, not this bad. But like I said, by the time we got to the hospital, my blood sugar started to come back up, and we just sat there in the truck and just kind of sat there and waited. I didn't want to go in the hospital if I didn't have to, because I mean, like I've said, I already have enough hospital bills, and when you go for an emergency room visit, you know, that's outpatient, and you're gonna pay for that visit. And it's not cheap to go to the emergency room. You guys know, if you know any of you guys that have gone to the emergency room before, go to the emergency room just to walk in there. It's, you know, you're talking $1,000. So we sat there, we waited, and my blood sugar started to come back up, and finally I told my wife, okay, let's go ahead and go back home now. I didn't see any point in going back in there. We came back home. My daughter had gotten home at that point, and my wife and my daughter had to help me get into the house. I was so exhausted. I had absolutely no energy. I could not walk up the front steps into our house. I had to put my arms over both of them, and they helped me walk into the house last night. But that's what happened to me yesterday. And you know, I was just talking about this just the other day in a video. Just never know when that day can come, and what could go wrong. And something as simple as just I took too much insulin. I mean, last night, I mean, like that, seriously, that could have been it for me. And I'm not joking, guys. One of the first things that popped in my head was, you know, my wife's gonna have to come on here and tell you guys that something happened to me. I don't know. That was a very, very scary night, and I'm gonna have to be a lot more careful with that. It's just one of those things to where I guess I just wasn't thinking. I don't know if I took 19 units. I have no idea. There's no way for me to know. I don't remember where the pen was at before I took the insulin. I didn't take a look at it. I'm gonna have to start like marking my pen and taking a look at where it is. And I'm gonna have to be like really diligent now. And that has only happened when I'm taking my long acting and my fast acting at the same time. And I stopped doing that for a really long period of time because I had made that mistake before. I thought I'd made that mistake before. I didn't. But it really scared me bad. And I told my wife I would never do that again because I thought I'd made that mistake before, because my wife started second guessing how much insulin I had taken one night. And I said, I won't do that anymore. I'll take my long acting and I'll wait 20 minutes and then take my fast acting. But I got back into my pattern again of doing what I do, and took my long acting first, and then I took my fast acting after. And I obviously did something wrong and took way more than I was supposed to take, and waited a very long period of time in between, and my blood sugar just crashed. I mean, it crashed on me last night, and everything I was doing to get it back up, it was just not working, which really scared me. And then, like I said, after I'd eaten all that stuff, my blood sugar should have started going climbing, but it wasn't. It started going back down again, because I had gotten it back up to like 100, and then it started going back down, and it got down to like 80, 70. I mean, I knew I'd really done something wrong. And you know, like I said, it just shows at any moment, you never know when that could be it. And man, I'm so grateful to be here today. Talk about scary. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, man, I've got all these problems wrong with me. I promise you guys, this went through my head last night. I'm sitting here thinking, I've got liver disease, I've got chronic pancreatitis, all these problems, blood clots, you know, the whole shebang. And I accidentally took too much insulin, and this is going to be what took me out. Like, how ironic is this? Like, I made a mistake, and that's going to be what ends up being it for me. And I'm telling you guys, it was just so frightening. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to tell you guys what happened to me last night. It really scared me really bad. I'm sorry I didn't get to y'all's comments, but I mean, that's what happened. We're about to get ready and go to my in-laws' house today for dinner. So I'm about to have to go in here and get ready. I wanted to get this filmed and tell you guys the story before we leave today, so I could get it uploaded. I hope you guys have a really great Easter. I just want to let you guys know I really, really do love you guys a heck of a lot. I'm not joking. That was one of the first things popped in my head. I mean, you guys are like family to me, even though I've never met most of you in real life. I've got a connection with you guys. You know, when I tell you guys that I really do care for you guys, I'm not joking. I'm being dead serious. And everybody here, you know, y'all popped in my head last night, and I didn't know if I was ever gonna be able to talk to you guys ever again, and that scared me. But anyway, like I said, everybody have a wonderful Easter today. I'm okay now. Everything's okay. I'm just gonna have to be a lot more careful with my insulin. You know, I've talked about this one time in the past too. There's actually a movie. There was a nurse. I don't remember what state that it was in. But there's actually a movie made about this. There was a nurse that, I think he was a traveling nurse. He was going around. He might not have been, but there was a nurse that was going and he was giving patients large amounts of insulin. And he actually ended up taking a lot of people's lives, giving them too much insulin. And the thing with insulin is that it's a natural hormone that's in our body. You know, that, I mean, most people have insulin in their body, and you know, it's not something they can just pick up on, I guess. And it took them a very long time to catch that guy. I think he was going in there when they were sleeping and giving them injections of insulin, and they would just, you know, their blood sugar would crash in the middle of the night, and they would just pass away. And I really thought that's what was going to end up happening to me last night. And that's why I went ahead and, you know, went to go to the hospital so that they could, because they can give you like injections of like dextrose or something like that. And I really wanted to be in the hospital so they could monitor it. I was just going to go in there and tell them I think I took way too much fast acting. But like I said, my blood sugars actually started leveling out a little bit. And finally, towards the end of the night, the highest it got last night before I fell asleep was like 120. And that's after I'd eaten all that stuff. For any of you guys out there who are in the medical field, I'm telling you, I probably ate like 300 grams of carbs last night, not joking. And my blood sugar only got to 120 last night. So that tells you right there how much insulin I messed up and took. But I'll never make that mistake again. You know, the one thing I could say about this is that I learned my lesson. And I made a mistake, and, you know, if I didn't learn from that, then that would be not very smart of me. But I did learn from that mistake, and I'll never do that ever again. I'll never take the two of those so close together ever again. And I'm going to make sure, especially at nighttime, I'm going to have my wife watch me as I inject myself, to make sure I don't ever do that again. Because I'm telling you guys, that was one of the most frightening things that's ever happened to me. When your blood sugar gets like that, you just don't know what's going on. I mean, you really lose your mental capacity. It just disappears. But like I said, guys, everybody have a happy Easter. I'll be back tomorrow with a regular video. I've got a bunch of great topics to talk with you guys about this week. I'm thinking about doing a live video next Saturday. But I'll let you guys know about that. But I'm really thinking about doing another live. I haven't done one in a few weeks, and the last one was really great. We had a lot of attendance on that, so thinking about doing that next Saturday. I'll touch back on that again tomorrow. And like I said, I hope you guys have a wonderful Easter. I hope everybody has a great time with their families today. And don't forget, guys, you know, if you get that thought in your head at any point today, just remember it's not worth it. Don't do it. Don't take that first sip, because all it takes is that one sip, and then it's all downhill from there. You know, If anybody offers you anything to drink, remember where you're at. Remember how hard it was to get where you are. You know, the struggle, those days of going through the withdrawals and stuff just to get to your sobriety. And you know, if you're there, you're coasting. Don't drop the ball now. It's just not worth it, guys. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off of here. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye bye.